Hi friends. So how are you all doing? Hope I'm audible. So it has been a while since I started this channel and I thought I should go live. And off late I had been posting a lot of crochet videos. So today I thought I should come up with something for beginners. So today the plan is um, let's discuss a few items that I did in the last few days. For instance, I had been doing a lot of miniature stuff. Let me show you a few of the items I did during the last few days. So this miniature dress for dolls, these shawls mostly for dolls, and this one is a blanket. And I also did this cute little dress for this doll. So these are the kind of things I started crocheting for the last few days, and I had been posting a lot of shorts and videos, a few tutorials. So to start with, I think crochet is a very good art, and it is a big stress buster, I would say, because we have a lot of stress at home, in office. So if we are able to do something like artistic, like crochet, and by the end of finishing a project, you really feel satisfied. So that is why I think we should learn something related to art, and I find myself doing crochet is a big stress buster. So yes, that's how I started around 10 years ago, and I'm continuing my journey. I used to do a lot of projects like headband and bigger projects. But now, of late, I have started with miniature stuff. There's an advantage. You can finish off these projects for within an hour or within lesser than an hour. So these appliques. Let me show you some of them. So this is a Gryffindor shawl. If you know about Harry Potter, so this is Slytherin shawl, and I also made this Barbie Barbie dress. These are some of the miniature fashion stuff that I did. And this one is a handbag for the dolls. So I really had fun doing all these miniature stuff. And today I made this. So this is an ice cream. So this is the first time I was trying something like this, and it turned out well. And what else do I have? So this is a flower. This is a rose flower that I did. So the kind of yarns I use are, so if I'm doing the project for the first time, I generally use this yarn. So you see, this is called Prince Oswald. So this comes for 15 rupees or 10 rupees in fancy stores in small stores, small fancy stores. You can see this type of yarns, Yardley, Prince. And this is 25 grams. And you can definitely use these for practicing. If you're going to try something new and you're going to practice, you can definitely go for this type of yarns. And I started getting these from Amazon. So this one is called as Desire. This yarn is called Desire. You can check it out in Amazon. I got two colors of this yarn. So this and pink. This is lilac. This is pink. So these two colors, and this is 100 grams. I got it for 104 rupees. So for actual projects, I use these better quality yarns, and for practice, if I'm doing something for the first time, I use this. So today, let's get started. So since this is, I'm not sure if my subscribers are really beginners or they are in intermediate level or advanced level. So to be on the safer side, I thought I should start with beginner level. Let's see how it goes. This is the first time I'm doing my live stream. I don't know how it's gonna go. This is, I don't have sophisticated equipments to start with. But let's see. I should start somewhere. Okay. So, for anybody to start crocheting, you don't need to have any skills, no prerequisites required. And for this tutorial, there are three things you need to have. One is the crochet yarn. So you can use any yarn to start with. A thicker yarn is easier to work with, and the stitches will be easily visible. If it is too thin, you may not be able to find out the patterns, the stitches, how it turns out to be. So you can start with something like this. This is easily available, so you can just go to Amazon and check Desire. It's among the best sellers, I guess. So there are plenty of beautiful colors, so you can choose one of them. But to start with, I think you can, if you're a beginner and you want to just start, I think you can use this type of, it's available in all fancy stores. So these yarns, 15 rupees, you can have this yarn. And you also get these hooks. You get a thinner hook for this. So this is also available on Amazon as well, and it is also available in retail shops. Did I? Okay, good. It's just okay. So let's get started. So today I'm going to use this yarn, Desire pink yarn from Amazon. Hope my camera angle is okay. So generally in yarns like these, they will tell you the hooks you have to use for crochet. So the recommended hook for this one is 5.5. So this, I'm not sure if you're able to see this. This is 6.5 and this is 5.5. This one is 5.5. So you can use either of these according to the description in this yarn. But I'm not going to use 6.5. It looks quite thick. So I'm going to use 5.5 for this tutorial. So step 1. Step 1 is, for starting any crochet project, you need to have a slip knot. What is a slip knot? So the first stitch to start with is a knot. So you'll have a knot and then you will create chains and then you will go ahead with stitches. To start with today, I'm going to teach you how to start with a slip knot. So if this is the end of the yarn, this is the end of the yarn. How do you do a slip knot? There are multiple ways to do this, but how I generally do this is just have it here like this. A simple knot like any other knot, but instead of pulling it through like this, what I generally do, what you have to do is, instead of pulling it through like that, you have to take this like this. You just have to have it as a loop. This should form a loop. Let me show it again. Just cross it like this. So the smaller end is on top, and then just do this. Make sure the tail end, this end is not too big. You can sew it, cut it later, but still it will disturb you when you're working with the project. So this is how your slip knot looks like. So for adults, most of them will understand this, but for kids this might not be easy because they may not even know to tie their shoelace. So this is not quite easy for them. So there's another way for kids. So you have your finger like this and then wrap it like that. So I have posted a video on how to tie a slip knot as well. Anyway, in today's tutorial I'm teaching you from the scratch. So what I've done is fold it like this and then make an X like this. and then make an X like this, left over the right, and then make an X, and then again left over the right. But this time you're going to just put it down, and then you see this knot coming up. So this way again you can make a slip knot. So whichever way you do it, so this is how you make your slip knot. So now I've made a slip knot. There's also another way to do this. So you just do it like this, and then so whichever method it is, it's just a knot where you're going to have a loop here. This is the crochet hook, 5.5 mm hook I'm going to use for teaching you how to start with. So now step 1 is done. You know how to tie the slip knot, which is the first stitch or first knot over which you're going to make the chains. So now, how do you make chains? To make these chains, what you need to do is first holding the hook and holding the yarn is something that you have to learn as a beginner. How do you, there are multiple ways to do this, but how I generally hold my yarn is this way. This is how I hold my yarn. Thumb over this place and then hold it this way. There are people who also hold it like this. There are many other ways people hold. So some time ago when I was teaching my kid how to hold it, she was comfortable in a very different position, but she was still able to work. So whichever position is comfortable for you, you can just start, but you decide on which position is comfortable for you. So what you need to learn is how to work with the yarn and the hook. But the positioning and other things, you can watch a lot of videos on YouTube. You can watch my videos, you can watch other crochet videos on YouTube, and you can figure out. You keep practicing and you'll figure out how to hold the hook. But for now, I'll tell you. And for people who use the left hand predominantly, quite different. They hold the hook in the left and the yarn in the right, and there are separate tutorials for them. So now I'm going to talk about the right-handed crocheting because that is the only thing I know. This is how you hold. In the right hand, you hold the hook and thumb over here and like this. This is how you hold the hook. And the left hand is quite tricky to start with, at least. You'll get used to it. You keep doing it. But to start with, it might look slightly tricky. So all you need to do is you have a knot here. So you just have to put the hook inside this, and then this is how I hold my yarn. This is how I hold my yarn. Hope this is visible. This is how I hold my yarn. So what did I do? I kept my thumb on this, middle finger on this, and I am holding the knot tightly so that this part is secure. Now, how do I move my thumb? How do I move my index finger? Like this. Middle finger, thumb holding the knot, and the index finger going towards the back and then holding it like that. So this is how you hold the yarn. Now, some people also use their little finger like that, but I generally don't do this. You can also try that. You will have a hold over this yarn if you do that. But I've got used to it this way. So this is how. Again, let me show you. This way, the hook will be held this way. The yarn will be held this way. Thumb, middle finger, and the index finger going all over the yarn like that. Then hold it like this. So this is how you position your hand, both the hands, one over the hook and the other over the yarn. So this is very important. It might look quite easy when you see, but when you do, you will have a lot of questions. You'll have a lot of doubts how to do this. So how to hold the hook, how to hold the yarn, and whether the index finger should come towards the back and then hold it like that, towards the front. You'll have a lot of questions when you do. It might look very simple when I show you. So this is how you hold your yarn and your hook. Now let's start with, now we know how to tie our slip knot. Step 1 is done. Step 2, we know how to hold our hook and our yarn. Now step 3 is how to make chains. So for most of the stitches you'll have to have a chain. Chain is mandatory for most of the stitches. So this is a basic thing you need to know to start your crochet projects. But there are things like magic ring for which you will not be chaining and then starting the project, but that's different. But for beginners, you need to start with a chain. So how do you, just carefully watch my movements, both right and left hand movements, the finger movements. So what I do is I'm holding the hook like this. I'm holding the yarn like this, like this. Now, I'm going to have the hook grab the yarn like that, twist it, and then bring it into this knot. Now, this knot is no more a knot, but it is a chain now. So, let me show it once again. I'm having my hook inside this knot, and I'm holding this with my index finger like that. Now I'm going on top of it. The hook is on top and the yarn is in the bottom. Now I'm holding the yarn with my hook, twisting it like that, and then bringing it into my knot, making it a chain. Now it is no more a knot and a chain. Now my hook is in a new chain. So I'm going to make another chain out of this. So how am I going to do that? Again, go over it like that, twist it, grab the yarn, bring it into this chain. So this is another chain. Now this is how you do your chain. This needs a lot of practice. So just some people will find it difficult to grab the yarn like that. So keep, missing this step. You bring it here, but you don't get a grab of this yarn. But it definitely comes out of practice. You keep practicing and you'll get it. It's not a rocket science, but it needs some practice. At least the chains, as a beginner, you will find it difficult. It is very obvious that it will be. In the beginning, it will be slightly difficult. As you go through the learning curve, the starting part, the beginning, the chains will be difficult. But after that, learning the stitches will not be a big challenge. I think you can, once you get the hold of the hand movement and the hook movement, making chains, then I think it should not be a problem. So another thing to note here is if you make it too tight, suppose this yarn, you're going to pull it too tight, you will have no space here inside this. So even if you're able to grab the yarn, you find it very difficult to bring it inside this. So don't do that. Have some space like that. And then you grab the yarn, bring it into it, and then you can adjust the size. If you feel that the chains are uneven, you can adjust the size later on. But you leave some space so that as a beginner, you'll not find it difficult to bring that inside your knot, inside that chain. So I'm just doing these random chains. So generally, when you work on a project, there are two ways. They count the chains. So in patterns, if you see, they count 10 chains and then you do a single crochet on top of it, a double crochet on top of it, something like that. But some people also do it with measurements. Suppose, how do I explain it to you? Suppose you have this doll I'm going to make a top for this doll. Then each yarn is different, the thickness and also the texture is different. So counting the chains may not be the same for all the yarns. So if I say 10 chains for this yarn, it might look slightly different for your yarn. So uh, the better way or general way I do is measure. So if you measure, you know that for this doll, you know the measurement. So now if I see, you have some more stitches to go. So that way you get a proper measurement. So there are two ways, counting the chains and measuring the length. So I would prefer measuring the length than counting yarns because yarns have different textures. This is how I start my chains. Now I have a good amount of chains for you to explain. Let me start with single crochet. There are a few things to remember here. See, if you see crochet, it is more about mathematics. Why mathematics? Because the number of chains, the number of stitches, and whether you increase or whether you decrease, everything is maths. Whether you're making a circle, whether you're making it flat, the counts matter. So it is more about mathematics. If you miss one stitch, it may not be seen in the project, but you know it very well. So when you look at the project, you know that you missed one stitch there. So it's okay. It's okay to miss one stitch. It will not be visible in your project. But it is more about maths, how you increment, how you decrease, how you increase, so that you create that pattern of cloth or project. Now, first thing, single crochet. I'm going to teach you how to do single crochet with these chains. So now that you know how to hold the hook, how to hold the yarn, right and left hand, then you know to do the slip knot and you know to make chains. With practice, you'll definitely be able to do it quickly. Now, after creating chains, what next? There are several stitches and we'll start with single crochet. For single crochet, what you need to do is you have to start from the second chain from this. I think it is visible for you. Okay. So this, don't count this as a chain. This is still inside the hook. This is the first chain and this is the second chain. For single crochet, what you need to do is you have to insert this hook into the second chain. So what did I do now? I counted this. I did not count this. Counted this. This is the first chain. This is the second chain. So I'm going to insert my hook into this chain. Step 1. For single crochet, this is what you have to do first. From the second chain, you have to insert your hook into the second chain. Step 1 for single crochet. Now you have to grab this yarn like that and then bring it through this second chain. This is the second step. First step is inserting your hook into the second chain. Grabbing the yarn and bringing it through the second chain is your second step. What is the third step? The third step is you should have 2 loops here on your hook. So if you are having 2 loops on your hook, then you're doing it right. Third step is you have to grab this yarn and it is called yarn over. So yarn over, you're doing this right. So yarn over and then pull through the 2 loops you had on the hook. Let me do it for the next chain. So this chain, you have this is how the single crochet looks like. Look at the stitch. You may not be able to figure out now. Well, let me do a few single crochets. You will see how it looks like. Now, the next chain, this chain is having a single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into the next chain, grab the yarn, Step 1, insert into the chain. Step 2, grab the yarn, pull it through the chain, have 2 loops. Step 3, yarn over, pull through. So this is what I did. Let me repeat. Insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So I'm going to continue with this. Insert into the chain, grab the yarn through the chain, then you have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both the loops. So I'm going to keep repeating. Now how do you find out which is the next chain? You can clearly see that this one is done, this one is done. Now you have this one. So insert your hook into the chain, pull the yarn through the chain, have 2 loops on the hook, and then you just pull through this. So you keep doing this. Insert into the chain, yarn over, grab it through the chain, yarn over, pull through. Insert the hook, then this way. So this is how you do your single crochet. Now let me complete this so that you'll be able to see how it looks like. So this is how your single crochet stitches look like. Hope this is visible. This is how it looks like, and the yarn is very soft. Desire yarn from Amazon. I got it from Amazon, as I told you. So this is a very good looking yarn. Has this light shine, and single crochet looks really good on this yarn, and the color is also very good. It also stands stiff. If you see, it's not. You do your single crochet. This is how the single crochet stitch looks like. So okay, so this was the question I had when I was a beginner 10 years ago. Suppose I'm going to come to the end of this chain, okay? So I keep doing this single crochet throughout, and then when I reach the end, let's say I'm reaching this end. Did I leave something? No. So I have a few more stitches to go. So when I reach this end, what you need to do is, in crochet, the most important thing you need to know is you have to turn your work. So if you don't know that, you cannot proceed further. You do not know. So that's how I ended up as a beginner. I did not know how to proceed further after that. So what you need to do is, this is done. All the chains are having a single crochet now. So what is the next thing you need to do? So in the beginning, if you remember, we started off from the second chain. Why did we start off from the second chain? Why not from the first chain itself? Because it has a height. If you see, single crochet has a particular height, and each of these stitches, there are other stitches like double crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet. These stitches have different heights. So according to the height of the stitch, you have to decide which chain to start with, and then how many chains to make after you complete this first row. So now I'm in the last end of the chain, end of the first chain that I did. Now what should I do? So I need to have one chain here, and then what I need to do is I have to turn my work like this. It might be confusing in the beginning. So what I did is I started my crochet like this. I ended up here, and then I did chain one. I did a chain one here, and then I'm just turning my work like this. My work was this way. I was doing it this way. And this is how it looked. I did chain 1 and then I'm going to turn my work like this. Now, after turning this, again you keep continuing with your single crochet. Now, how do you do it? From the second row. So if I tell you how to do this in the second row, you can keep doing continuously. So this much if you're able to understand in crochet, and if you have some practice, you can do any kind of project with some understanding of how to increase and decrease. You can do any project with just single crochet. Though there are other stitches, with this you can do most of the projects. So there are two ways here. What we generally do in single crochet is, if you see, you can see the chains here. This is our single crochet. You see there are chains here. Can you see? Is something wrong? So these chains on top will serve as the base for your stitches for the next row. So what I did was, in the beginning, for this stitch, I did not show you, right? I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to put my hook into this chain. If you see on top, there are several chains. I'm going to put it into this chain, then grab the yarn like that, pull through. Now I have two loops, and then like this. So I have my second row ready now. This is how I do this. Get into it, just grab my yarn into my chain. So where should I do it in the second row? I should get into the chain. I should get into this chain. And then as a beginner, you can learn it this way, getting into the chain. But there is another way people do it. And the stitches look quite different if you do it that way. They look beautiful as well. This look may be different from that. I'll also tell you how to do that. So what, instead of going through this chain like that, what you can do is this way, in between the chain, just grab it like that and you can do it. But you cannot do it in between like this. So if you choose to do it that way, what you need to do is, right from here you have to work that way. So if you cannot just do it this way for one stitch and this way for another. No, you cannot do that. If you are planning to do it this way, do it from the second row, starting of the second row. So this is how you go about with your single crochet. When you finish the first row, just chain 1, turn over. For any project, if you see if they are doing single crochet, all they will do is chain 1 more and then turn the project. That's what they always do. So this is how you do your single crochet. Now, as I said, crochet is more about mathematics. It's not that you have to be good at mathematics to know crochet, but if you're good, it's good. It's good to have, but if you start doing a lot of crochet, you'll become good at mathematics. So let me tell you, for single crochet, generally the notation is this. Single crochet, what we generally do is start from the second loop, second chain. Okay, you have to remember this. And what are the steps we followed for single crochet? What are the steps we followed? Step 1, we got into the chain, the hook into the chain, hook into second chain. Okay, so you need to have a table for single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet, from which stitch to start as a beginner. You'll get used to it as you do, but as a beginner it is good to have a table. You can refer it whenever required. And these steps also will be helpful for you. Hook into, insert the hook, I meant, okay. Insert the hook into the second chain. Now after inserting, what do? Grab the yarn through the chain. Grab the yarn through the chain. What is the next step you need to do? You will have 2 loops on the hook. 2 loops on the hook. And you have to yarn over and then pull through the 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through. You will always hear these words in crochet. Yarn over is doing this. Pulling through is taking it through the hook. So this is what is single crochet. It should be clear. It might look clear for you now, but you have to practice to get the hold. Now, let me cut this off. So this is how our single crochet project looks like. Now, okay, it's quite boring with the pink, so let me take purple now. I'm going to start with a knot again, once again with a knot, slip knot. A slip knot, holding it like this, tighten the knot, holding my hook like this, holding my yarn like this, like so. Inserting the hook into the loop. Now, let me chain a few. So now you know how to chain. We'll hold it like this, hold these knots using these 2 fingers, the middle finger and the thumb, and the index finger should supply the yarn to you. And then you grab it here. So this is also important. Some people also do this. You can do it if you want. Now, so I'm going to grab this yarn, pull it through the chain. Grab this yarn, pull it through this chain. So basically this is what we do in most of the stitches in crochet. Grabbing and pulling through. That's why you say yarn over, pull through and all, right? So this is what we do. What we need to know is what are the steps to be followed for each of these stitches. Now I'm going to tell you how to do half double crochet. For half double crochet, single crochet I said from the second chain, right? For single crochet. Now for half double crochet, what we generally do is we start from the 3rd chain. Okay. This is what I said, you should have a table. So what is a half double crochet? It is somewhat similar to single crochet, but there's a small difference, and your stitch looks totally different. I'll compare and show it to you how it looks. Where did I put it? Okay, it is here. So this is how your single crochet looks. I'll tell you how double crochet looks. These are the steps to be followed for, I said, 3rd chain, right? So for single crochet is the 2nd chain, and for half double crochet it is the 3rd chain. So this I'm not going to count. I'm going to count 1, 2. So if it is a single crochet, I would have started here. But now it's a half double crochet, so I'm going to start from the 3rd chain. I'm going to do the same step but from the 3rd chain. Insert the hook, step 1. So this is what you do in single crochet, right? You insert the hook, yarn, pull through, and then you do this. So this is single crochet. For half double crochet, most of the steps are the same, except for the fact that you're going to use your Where are the chains? One, this you need not count. So this is one chain, this is one chain, this is the third chain. So you're going to start from the 1, 2, 3, third chain. So before inserting the hook, what you need to do is yarn over like this. So we never saw this in any of the steps before, right? So we always inserted the hook into the chain. But now what we're doing is this hook should go towards the left like that, and the yarn should go through this like this. Now this is called yarn over. We're yarning over like that. And then after the yarn over, it is similar to single crochet, but instead of 2 loops, you'll have 3 loops. I'll show you that. So you're yarning over, and then 1, 2, where is it? 1, 2, 3. So into the third chain, I'm going to insert my hook. So what I did was I just yarned over. That is the only thing I did differently for half double crochet. Now instead of 2 loops, I have 3 on the hook. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to just grab the yarn like that and pull it through all the 3 hooks. All the 3 loops. This is how the half double crochet looks. It's different from, it looks very much different from the single crochet, and it is taller as well. That's why you're leaving 3. Why are we leaving 2 chains for single crochet and 3 chains for half double crochet? Because the stitches are taller. So we are going to have this height. That is why we are leaving it like that. So yarn over, step 1. Now I have the first half double crochet. Now yarn over, insert hook into the next chain, then grab the yarn into the chain. You'll have 3 loops. If you have 3 loops, then you're doing it right. Then pull through this. So as a beginner, it might not be flawless like this. You might not get the stitches like this, just flawlessly inserting it and then through the 3 loops. You may not. So what actually happens for beginners is you might find it difficult to yarn over. You'll take a lot of time there, and then when you insert into this and then grabbing it will take a lot of time. Then it becomes clumsy, but it's okay. That's how you start. Becoming clumsy when you yarn over, pull through and all is okay, but concentrate on the number of loops you have on the hook, so that will help you to minimize the mistakes. See, this is how the half double crochet stitch looks like. Yarn over. So it's like the mathematical formula, right? So for single crochet, start from the second loop and then insert hook, step 1, grab the yarn through the chain, step 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops. This is step 3. For half double crochet, what is the formula? Yarn over, then insert into the hook, insert into the chain, pull it through the chain. You'll have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through. So this is how your half double crochet stitch looks like. So again, you can choose. So once you're proficient with a few of these stitches, you can form your own patterns. In the beginning, you can refer to others' patterns and you can start doing your projects. And at one point, you will have that calling to create your own pattern. So when you reach that level, any art for that matter, any skill for that matter, right? You will start following somebody else's work first, and then you will start doing it by yourself. You will innovate. So, but crochet, even if you're following somebody else's pattern, you have the freedom to choose your colors, the yarn colors, whichever is your favorite. So there you can really play with colors, and you have the kind of satisfaction you get, you do crochets. You cannot explain it in words. It's really relaxing and very satisfying, because when you complete a work, you really feel very happy. People at home will be very proud, and you can give gifts to your friends, to your kids, to your neighbors. So it's a very satisfying hobby. So this is how your half double crochet looks like. So remember the formula, write down if you want, write down the formula, and you'll get it if you practice. Now I am at the end of the chain. So what do I do now? You should have guessed by now if you are concentrating. You should have guessed by now. What do I do now? I did a chain 1 for single crochet. Now I have to chain 2. Why chain 2? When I am turning the work, my work was like this. I did a chain 2 and then I turned my work. Why chain 2? Because we started off from the third chain. So chain 2 and then you can continue with the work. So similar to what we did in single crochet. There are chains over here. So what you need to do is insert sideways into these both the loops of this with the chain. Then grab the yarn, pull through. So it's quite tall if you see compared to the single crochet. You can quickly finish off this because quickly you're making a taller work, right? So baby hat, you can use these stitches for any project. There's no rule that you have to use these stitches only for these projects. You can go innovative there. Any project can be used for any. But in the beginning, you can probably follow the patterns on YouTube. The tutorials on YouTube are very, very helpful. So you can just, they show you step by step how to do things. You can follow my tutorials. You can follow the other tutorials as well. There are very, very good ones. That way, you can get a variety instead of following one channel. If you follow multiple channels, you get a variety of perspectives, thought process, how the creator actually thinks. You get a lot of perspectives. You have a lot of channels to refer to. There are appliques also. You can also do appliques. What are appliques? You can stitch them on your dresses or headbands or bags. So those are very cool projects to work on. Within an hour, you can complete them. Now let me show you a few examples. So before that, so how do you cut your yarn? Suppose if I'm done with the project, how do you cut it? Just, you have the yarn here. Just pull it like that. Give some space and then, where is my scissors? Okay. Just cut it over here. Now you can just take this off. This is the yarn. And then you have this end, isn't it? So it is better to have a chain and then do it. You can have one chain before cutting it off. And then how to hide this, I'll show you. You can just use a needle, a normal needle, and then sew it inside. That is one way. You need not go and search for a needle. This is an easier way. Just have to hide it inside. It will not be visible at all. So I'm just hiding this inside my work. You can do that. After chaining one, you can do that. Then you can just, here if you see there is this yarn showing out, right? You can cut it off like that. It will not be visible at all. You will not know the starting point. Similarly, you can do for the tail that we started off with, right? You can do similar thing. You can just hide it somewhere inside. It will not be shown at all. See, it's not shown at all. So let me compare the single crochet. See this, 2 stitches, 2 rows of single crochet and 2 rows of half double crochet. Half double crochet. See the difference? That is why start from second chain, start from third chain. Now, okay, to start with, you can do a number of projects with this. Okay, I was telling you about the appliques, right? So I did this mushroom applique. how do you do this? So you can choose any stitch for this. Now you know how to do single crochet, half double crochet, but you know to do it parallelly, parallel stitches. I taught you how to do parallel stitches like that. But here I have reduced it. If you see, there are more stitches here, lesser, 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 then it ends here, right? Similarly, more stitches here, more chains here, lesser, 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 lesser. So if you have to create your own patterns, one thing you need to know is how to increase and how to decrease. It may be very early at this stage to explain how to increase and decrease, but I'll just give you a clue, or I'll just give you an idea of how we generally do it, so that you know when you're very comfortable, when you start doing it, and when you're comfortable with single crochet, double crochet, and all, single crochet and half double crochet, two stitches. We have learned two stitches today. Probably we can go for the remaining stitches in the next live or next tutorial. You also let me know what are the other things you want to really learn, or if you have some request, you can definitely put it in the comment section. So this is what I was planning to do. I didn't have a plan actually, to be honest. So I was just thinking of doing something for beginners, for absolute beginners, because many of my friends told me that this is quite satisfying to see these projects, and they're quite curious to learn how to crochet, but they do not know where to start with. So I think for such people, this is a big stress buster, and uh, you can just start this crocheting as a stress buster, as a hobby, and then you can start giving it as a gift rather than selling. That is a totally different level. To start with, you can do things for your own use and for your friends, for your kids, and for your family, for your neighbors. So that way, you know, you feel very happy. You give it free of cost, so you feel really happy about it, and you're doing something that is useful for somebody, right? And you're able to do it colorful. You're able to innovate in your own way, right? So it's quite satisfying. You just try it out and see. It's definitely very, very satisfying, and it's one of the best hobbies, I would say. I have quite a lot of hobbies, but crocheting is something that gives you a lot of satisfaction, a lot of uh, you feel that you have innovated something, you have found something new every time you create a pattern. You do that. So I was talking about incrementing and decreasing, right? So how do you increase? So I told you into the chain. Let me take that. Okay, I'll show it in single crochet itself. So what you did was, for the second row, what you did was you inserted your hook into this chain sideways, and then you just pulled it like that, and then you were continuing with your single crochet. So if you have to decrease, what you do is you skip one stitch and move to the next stitch. That is one way. That is one way to decrease. Another way is, so together, two together like this, together if you do, it becomes, you know, it decreases like this. It decreases. That is what I did for this. So that is another way. And for increasing, you might have already guessed it, right? So for increasing, what do? You just have to have more than one stitches into this chain. So you are doing one crochet, one single crochet into this chain, isn't it? Now you will do two single crochets here. So you can increment as much as you want. That is where you innovate and you create your own patterns, isn't it? So I showed you an ice cream, isn't it? So that ice cream required a lot of incrementing. So here, if you see, this is slightly different. It's not. It's. Yeah, stuffed. I have stuffings inside, and then I made a cherry on top. And then this is okay. This is something to do with the magic ring. Starting with a magic ring. Those are different things. So I'll definitely teach everything that you know, you're interested in. But you know, this starts as a circle, just like the parallel projects I taught you. This is a circular one, and then here I started off with a small ring and then incremented, stabilized, incremented. So wherever you need to increment, you can have more stitches. You want to decrease, you have less stitches. So that way, you can form your own pattern. That is how I also did this dress. So this you might understand better because this is a parallel project, right? So, I mean, it's a flat one, a flat project. What did I do? Hope everything is fine. Okay. So, how did I do this? I just measured the doll and then made a ring, and I kept continuing with the stitches. So here up to this, if you see, I have decreased the stitches, isn't it? And then increased starting from here, more stitches in one. You just get into the details of the stitches and see, you will see that from here I'm incrementing. I keep on incrementing, and here I wanted it like a lace, so I had more stitches, two stitches in each, so that it looks like this, frilly and beautiful. And this one is a earring. This is one of my old earrings. I just inserted it as a belt, and it turned out well. Yeah. This is actually, if you see, this is inspired from Barbie. One of the costumes, the Barbie movie, the latest movie, right? So this somewhat like this, not exactly this, but it definitely has this pink and white. But I think it is, it's not this kind. It has checks. So that is how it looks like. You can check it out. I have a few shots. I did not make a tutorial, I think. I made a short video and I showed you how it resembles. It is inspired from the Barbie movie. And the Barbie costume also has a belt and it has a bow. So instead of the bow, I made use of my earring. And otherwise, it is exactly the same. It has checks, but the color combination and all is the same. So these appliques, these are called appliques actually. So these ones, right? So the mushroom, I made a few appliques. So these appliques can be stitched to your dresses, to your headbands, to your bags. I also made this. So this is, it might look tricky, it might look quite difficult, but it is not. It's just a flat project that is stitched together, rolled and stitched together. How do I explain this? Okay, this is how I did this. Okay, this is how it looks like, and you have to just roll it like this, make it look like a rose, the petals. I made more stitches on one chain, so that's what I did for this shape. And there's a pattern. I think I have given the pattern in one of my short videos, but I'll definitely do a detailed tutorial. It's not easy to follow through the 1 minute shorts. I'll definitely do a detailed video on this. This is quite an interesting one. So it doesn't take much of effort, a little bit of understanding of the stitches and the, as I said, the formula. If you remember the formula, you can easily do this. See? You can easily do this. You just have to stitch it with a normal needle. Let me show you. I have one of those fancy plastic needles you get in market. Just see that. This one. You're able to see. So this is the kind of needles you get, which are very easy to work with, and they're not very sharp and dangerous. The actual needles we use are quite dangerous, right? But these are cute. They are very cute looking, and they are I'm not sure if you're able to see in this background. It's a dark colored one. So look at the tip. It's quite easy to sew into your work, and it makes your life very very easy. It's much better than the actual needles. You can just sew it like that. And then this is how the rose looks. Why did I do that rose? Because you see, Jisoo's Blackpink, if you know Blackpink, Jisoo's song Flower is becoming very popular. It's very popular now, right? So kids these days are listening to those, and it's becoming viral. The steps Jisoo does. So I did these two flowers for that purpose actually. I made a ring here, and so that you can just put it into your finger and then do this. Okay, and you do this step, right? I'm not sure if I'm doing it properly. So that is the purpose I did this. So my headset is complaining that the battery is low. So it's better that I've been into this live stream for how long? For a very long time. So let's stop it here. And I promise that I will be back with more tutorials. And please do let me know what are the other areas you want to know, what are the other projects you're interested in, stitches you're interested in, whether you like this live stream. Do keep me posted, and your feedbacks are very important. It will help me do things better. So yeah, that is what I had for today's live stream. Thank you so much for being patient watching this. And yeah, please do start your crochet journey. If this video helped you to start your crochet journey, I'll be very very happy. That is the big victory for this video. Thank you so much. Bye. Now how do I start this live stream?